Celeste won the vote and is our newest Deadlock hero. For most of the community, the reactions to her so far have been pretty positive, with a very unique and interesting base kit and abilities, a cool player model, voice lines, and animations. Overall, she is a very welcomed addition to this Deadlock roster that continues to expand. She is a very heavy spirit damage dealing spellcaster who wants to be engaged in close-up combat and throw a variety of spells at enemies while stacking spirit damage amplification and traversing the map with fluid movement. In today's video, I want to go over everything that has to do with Celeste, her base kit, her abilities, and what items are good to buy on her in your games. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any Deadlock news and updates going forward. I'm on the road to 1,000 subs and I'd appreciate all your help getting there. One of the first things you might notice about Celeste is actually her passive. There's no real description for this passive ability, but her movement is much more fluid than any other character in Deadlock. She almost has a low gravity effect when strafing in the air. Coming off a wall bounce, hitting an air dash, doing a dash jump, it will almost feel like you're floating and can control your movement in the air much better than any other hero. This can lead into some very cool movement techniques that you can learn. On Celeste, you can actually bunny hop, and it's more efficient than sliding. In these clips, I'm not even holding the W key. Once you get momentum, you can just strafe back and forth using your A and D key, and keep your momentum. If you played any other Valve games like CSGO, you know about bunny hopping and how efficient it can be for your movement. It's not very hard to learn, and just a few minutes in the practice range you'll get it down, and once you master this technique, you'll be moving around the Deadlock map like a pro. Celeste also has a very unique gun. She twirls her baton around and fires up projectiles, and these projectiles can actually bounce off surfaces. If you bounce the projectiles off the ground towards an enemy, they will actually track to the enemy. If you're not great at aiming, just bounce your bullets off the ground and they will track to the nearest enemy. You can also do this with soul orbs. This is not as efficient as just hitting them, but if you're at range and you're trying to snipe a soul orb, try ricocheting them off the ground and you might just get it. Alright, let's go over her abilities. Her first ability is called Light Eater. Blast enemies in a cone in front of you with a flare of light. Enemies hit take spirit damage when attacked by Celeste and provide spirit lifesteal. Enemies hit by this effect will begin glowing purple, showing you that you've successfully hit them. Shooting at the enemy now will make you deal spirit damage in addition to your base bullet damage. This also triggers spirit lifesteal, not only for your other abilities, but because your bullets are doing spirit damage, you're spirit lifestealing off your bullets as well. Her second ability is called Dazzling Trick. Surround yourself in a protective prism that provides bonus move speed. If the barrier is destroyed, it silences nearby enemies and deals a portion of the barrier as damage. Just using this ability will just grant you move speed and a protective barrier if there's no enemies nearby. If an enemy breaks this barrier while nearby you, it will silence them and deal damage to them as well. The tier 3 upgrade for this ability is very important for your ultimate ability, but we'll talk about that later on. Her third ability is a charged ability called Radiant Daggers. Call down a beam of light from the sky. After a short duration, the beam will fully form, causing an explosion that deals spirit damage to all targets in the area. Celeste will receive a stacking buff that increases her spirit damage anytime this hits an enemy hero. Once you call down this ability, if there's an enemy within range, it will grant you 8% spirit amp to all of your spirit abilities. This ability can hit multiple enemies at once. The spirit amplification can stack up to 6 times, granting you a maximum of 48% spirit damage amplification. And finally, her ultimate ability is called Shining Wonder. Launch a deadly orb of light that deals spirit damage and applies slow, and reduces dash distance on impact. The orb then bounces to the enemies within range. If no target is found, the orb will linger for a short duration while continuing to look for targets. Casting this ultimate ability at a group of enemies will launch a ball of light that will begin to bounce between enemies. There is no limit to the amount of enemies that this ball can bounce to. Getting the tier 3 upgrade on your ultimate ability will grant you 10 additional bounces. In the late game, this ball of light can do an immense amount of damage in a teamfight. As I said previously, getting the tier 3 upgrade on your second ability, Dazzling Trick, is very important for your ultimate ability. It will allow the ball of light to bounce off your own shield. This means that if you're in a fight with only one enemy, you can use your shield to bounce the ball of light off yourself and back towards the enemy, and it will reset the timer on your shield, meaning you can hit this enemy with the maximum amount of bounces. An important thing to know is that you can even bounce the ball off enemy troopers. So if you don't have the maximum upgrade on your second ability, but you're fighting in a lane, this is the best way to utilize your ultimate against one enemy. It will not work with enemy guardians or walkers though. Now let's go over some abilities that I think are really great on Celeste. The first one is Escalating Exposure. All of her abilities, including her bullets, deal spirit damage. So not only are you amping your own spirit damage up with your third ability, Escalating Exposure is allowing for even more amplification. I also really like Lightning Scroll on Celeste. Because your ultimate will bounce between enemies, Lightning Scroll will actually proc on every single enemy your ball hits. A good early game item for Celeste is High Velocity Rounds. Her base bullet velocity is kind of slow, so upping the velocity just makes your bullets get to the target faster even when they bounce off the floor. I have a couple sleeper pick items that you're not going to find in many builds, and this pairs very nicely because Celeste's gun does not have any damage fall off. No matter what range you're at, her bullets will always do the same amount of damage. The items that pair nicely with this effect are the ones that have a build-up per shot. So slowing bullets on Celeste, for example, only take 2 shots to fully build up, so this can be procced from any range. Another good example of an item that works this way is Silencer. On Celeste, Silencer only takes 3 shots to build up fully, and once again this can be at any range because Celeste's gun does not have any damage fall off. Building orange items on Celeste is definitely not first instinct, but her gun can be very potent in close range combat. So let me know down in the comments what you think of Celeste so far. Do you think she's overpowered? Do you think she's balanced? And are you looking forward to our final hero this patch, Apollo? Make sure to stay tuned to the channel and subscribe so you don't miss any Deadlock news and updates. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Later.